Just standing outside my new local 7-Eleven at about noon, watching the world go by, delivery guy delivering stuff, some other guy standing out here on his phone. There's a lot more going on in this neighborhood. So that last Airbnb I was at, it was pretty handy for being so close to the mountains. If I wanted to go hike, it was pretty good for that. Where this one, it's across from a karaoke place, Neo Karaoke. But this one's, man, I'm spoiled for so today I'm going to Dazaifu. And I guess it's actually 12:40. I'm dragging my feet a little. But I'm spoiled for choice. It's like, all right, which train do I want to take to get here? I'm minutes away from 2 different train lines. It's fucking amazing. But this one line that's not the JR line that I still have not learned the name of, it has a Dazaifu station. Although I think I got a transfer. Maybe I'll just walk. I don't know. I'm dragging my feet a little. Maybe too much. Because I kind of want to get there while it's daytime and look around a bit and get a bit of a lay of the land. But then I want to hang out till it gets dark. So it'll get dark at about 5:30. And then I can see both. I can see it in the daytime and at the nighttime. And before, when I would get trapped in the dark, then I'm also hours away. I'm a 2.5-hour walk away from my Airbnb. So it's like, oh man, the night really hurt. Where now it's like, fuck it, dude. You can just hop on the train. Be right back here. No problem. And ironically, this might even be better when I decide to hit up the old mountain again. Because I can't really walk from here. But since I'm closer to the train, I could take the train to... Now, you know what? Cut all that stuff about the mountain. Fucking who cares? But I got some goods. I had it in my mind I wanted a melon bread. There's like this melon bread that has melon paste stuff inside it that is super melony. And I was like, oh, I could go for that. They didn't have it, but they had melon pan sticks. So these are just little bread sticks for like $1, a bit over $1. There's 5 of them, and they seem to have chocolate chips in them. So I don't know. Let's see what this is all about. Not bad. Not quite what I was looking for, but not bad. Yeah, the melon bread that legitimately looks like a melon and has like green... It looks like icing, but I don't think it is icing. Anyway, it's this bread that legitimately tastes like melon. That shit's fucking really good. And then I got Precious Moments coffee of Kobe. So I was like, oh, I haven't had this since Nakaitabashi. But I had one that was like a light brown label. This one's white. I don't know what the difference is, but let's try it. I don't know. It's just kind of generically sweet coffee, but it's not bad. All right, last thing. These were an impulse purchase as I was waiting. Baked cheesecake biscuits. They look like animal crackers, but supposedly they're cheesecake. So let's try one of these. Tabeko Dobutsu biscuit. Yeah, they're very much like animal crackers. This one says eagle right on it. Eagle, squirrel, ox. So they're written in English. Oh man, that's pretty fucking good. So it's like an animal cracker, but it's a cheesecake cookie rather than an animal cracker. It's an animal cheesecake cookie. Man, no complaints there. Cheesecake anything in Japan is fucking super good. And I'm always drinking these vitamin C drinks that they have here because even if it, I don't know if the super blast of vitamin C, I'm sure it doesn't hurt. But just psychologically, it makes me feel like I'm fending off a cold. But I found vitamin C little lozenges. So it's like, I don't know, maybe this would work so I'm not peeing all the time. Less liquid in my vitamin C. So let me try this. This is just where I quickly try everything and then I gotta go hop on the train. I'll just stick all this stuff in my pockets and have junk to eat all day. Because the vitamin C drinks, they're very good, and actually I like that they're small too. They don't really add to my liquid quotient to that much, but they're super duper sour. Super sweet, super sour. So let's see how these work. These little lozenge versions. Ooh, yeah, I mean, they're tasty. They are fucking super lemony. Already though, I can just tell, like, maybe this isn't the best idea. Maybe I should stick to just necking one of those vitamin C drinks every day, because this is so like sweet and delicious that my tongue is like seeking it out already. And it's like, yeah, I'm gonna like burn a hole in my tongue with these things. Not bad though. Anyway, that's my random rambling of the morning. Just standing outside the 7-Eleven. I love it. Feels so good. But all right, I gotta go hop on a train and figure out how to get to an ancient city. Have that nice balance in the day. Just get junk food at the convenience store and then go do something culturally relevant and hope that it impacts my brain on any level. I just walked by 3 older ladies sitting on the shore of a little river, but it's not like a nice shore, it's like a concrete shore. And I don't see anything in particular on the other side. There is the elevated train track. I don't know, there's some houses and there's power lines, but all 3 of them were sketching the scene. So I got to assume it's like a club or something. But I don't know what I'm not seeing. I'm looking right now, and it's a fantastically normal view, which just seems a little odd, because if I turn my head very slightly, there's amazing mountains, and then if I turn my head the full 180, there's really amazing, super close mountains. So that's a little, I don't quite know what's going on there. Maybe they're just bored of the mountains. I guess if you grew up here, you don't give a crap about the mountains. Maybe the mountains are just in your way. I can't see what's behind them mountains. I can't get where I'm trying to go, there's a mountains in the way. So this place I'm going, Dazaifu, I didn't do very much research. I just kind of want to wander in and see what happens. But I definitely heard of it before. And the little bit I looked up, it's like a whole town. And it used to be one of the major, if not the major capital of Kyushu, of this whole island, I believe. And from the pictures, it seems like it's still very historically accurate to how things used to be. Which sounds pretty fucking great. But it's a little confusing because that was a really short subway ride. I'm not there right now. But a tiny little subway ride that costs like 220 yen. But instead of doing the transfer and going straight there, because whenever I'm directly in a place, like I just emerge from a train and I'm in a place, it really throws off my sense of direction and my sense of location and where things are and how they connect. So I was supposed to transfer at Nishitetsu Futsukaichi station and go 2 more stops. So I thought maybe I would just walk from there. But then I realized if I stopped 1 station sooner, Tofurome, Tofurome station, it's about the same distance, and there's like the river I just mentioned, the Mikasa River. And I was like, oh, that'd be nice. I can just walk along the river. But it's this weird concrete, not very accessible river. so I'm not walking along the river. There's some girls playing tennis as I walk by. I used to play a little tennis when I was a kid. And badminton. I was always good at badminton in particular, I think, because it's not a lot of physical strength necessarily required for badminton. But yeah, I thought I would just walk to Dazaifu just to sort of see it, like what's the approach like? Like how do you get from here to there? How do you get from the city to the time warp into the past? And yeah, I don't know, it is just city everywhere. Everything all the way so far has been city. I'm still very much in the city. I don't know, I'm starting to suspect perhaps Dazaifu, Dazaifu, maybe these pictures that I saw online, again, I didn't research very much, but I wonder if they're kind of curated. Like, let's just make sure we don't point the camera in the wrong direction. Because I expected this to be like some kind of long train journey or a long bus ride or something. When I first heard of this place, I didn't expect it to just be on the train line. Like, it is extremely accessible. But on the other hand, Japan, I mean, it can really change on a dime. Where you're just, I mean, I noticed that in Chiba most recently. I was just in the city, and then I was fully just in the country. It's like I was in a different whole fucking place, and then you just turn another corner and you're back in the city. So who knows? We will see. I think I got about a 20-minute walk. And I think I mentioned this before, but I think it bears repeating. If you visit Fukuoka, if you're not in the very, very center, definitely just expect squat toilets. Man, they love squat toilets around here, you know? Like, at least on the, like, obviously in the center, everything is super duper fancy pants. And, like, really fancy pants. It's sort of surprising how fancy all the stuff is in central Fukuoka. There's a lot of parts of Tokyo not nearly that fancy. And then if you're on the main subway, those are the toilets of the future. But yeah, just as I was leaving this station, I just noticed on the way out, like, oh, squat toilet, you know, and I'm really not that far out. And this is the big fancy line that, like, has its own giant terminal at Tenjin, directly connected to the diamond store or whatever. And even this line, once you just get, you know, 6 or 7 stops out, it is squat toilet heaven. They love them some squat toilets around here. So far, I think I used a squat toilet once, really early on in Tokyo, just because I didn't have any other option. And I've managed to avoid it ever since. Not bad, not bad. Don't worry though, I'll let you know when I fail. It's gonna happen eventually. Not that anyone wants to know, or cares, or asked. But yeah, actually already this is starting to calm down. We're drifting away from the traffic. There's a bunch of fields between me and the mountains. Maybe I'm slowly being enveloped by the magical past of Dazaifu. Oh yeah, in fact, I guess because Dazaifu is a whole ancient city, I think I have just inadvertently stumbled into the area. I'm not really very close to the Dazaifu subway stop yet, but I'm already there because I'm at the ruins of Dazaifu Government Office. And there's a Dazaifu exhibition hall here. So yeah, this thing I thought was just a big park is the ruins of the government office. Which when they say ruins, they're not kidding. I don't know, I was like gonna say like, oh, I guess I'll go take a stroll around it, but it really is just a park, you know. There's like, I guess, foundations of where the buildings used to be, but that's it. It's pretty much just a park, grass, some monuments, you know, kids playing and stuff. I'm taking a little walk with my eyes. Man, though, right behind here, mountains. I'm willing to bet there's some sweet fucking mountain paths around these parts. God, I fucking love the mountains here. Yeah, I'm just looking at the You Are Here map. I'm here next to a washroom. Midway through the government office is a washroom. Up at the northern tip is a washroom. And then there's a mountain path there that just kind of goes up off the map. But if I were to take the one just a little to the east, it goes up to a washroom. Jeez, and there's washrooms all over this map. I love it. I already love Dazaifu. And the exhibition hall has little dioramas or whatever, little miniatures of like, here's what all the stuff used to look like, here's the buildings. I just gandered through the window as I walked by. It's like, oh, neat, little miniatures. But I want to continue on because I'm already starting to think that I don't know what all is here, what exactly I'm looking to find. I guess I'll just go to that subway stop. I assume if there's any big touristy stuff, there will be a direct guideline from there. But my backup plan, the mountains are just like right there. They are right there. Maybe a little hike up the mountain is what I was here to do all along. Maybe that's the wrong that I was sent here to put right. The wrong being, I don't know, that I'm not high enough in the air, I guess. Wow, this place really is just packed full of stuff where, because, the way I do this podcast is I just turn the recorder on and off as I'm drifting around. So it's sort of an indeterminate amount of time between things. But these are all next to each other. Like I only turned off the recorder for like a minute or two. And then I was walking down the street and I just looked to my left and just looking down it's like a little lane, tree-lined lane, and I could just see the front of this temple, and I just felt that draw of like, oh, go there, go look at that looks awesome. It immediately gave me the feeling of, again, I always equate everything to video games. There's a Sega Genesis game called Revenge of Shinobi that is one of the all-time classics of the Sega Genesis. It's also where I first fell in love with the music of Yuzo Koshiro, but it's an excellent game. And this just feels like that, because it's like temple grounds, and the buildings are just those ancient Japanese buildings with the cool flared roofs and the individual, well, it's kind of like, I really got to look this up. Like, how did they make these buildings? The roofs are like tiles, but they also sort of have, it's like a series of curved tubes, kind of, is what it looks like, with tiles in between. Anyway, it's again ancient ass building, although I've heard a lot of these buildings burned down. A lot of these are recreations. But I think what's neat about this is this, I've seen a million temples all around, but this one really feels old. It doesn't feel maintained. Like the ones in Tokyo are so meticulous. Like I feel like this would be like painted red, and it would be sort of new looking, where this is just the brown of wood and the walls are white. There's two different buildings, one of them smaller than the other. And yeah, it just looks old. It looks really old. It's almost like a fancy Japanese barn. But this is kind of cool because you really get a feeling of the age of it a lot more than the really well curated places. And I didn't even see this on Google Maps, but luckily there is a sign here. Kenzeonji Temple, Kanzeonji Temple. Kenzeonji Temple was the most important ancient temple in Kyushu. The temple was built in memory of the late Empress Samae by her son, Emperor Tenchi. After its completion in 746 AD, it became the most important Buddhist establishment in Kyushu, exerting a great influence on all other temples in the region. That's something I learned also, is because I was confused specifically about the Aburayama Kannon Buddhist temple, because I only learned from my new friend Satoru that the Buddhist temples and the Shinto shrines are two different religions, Buddhism and Shintoism. But I was a little confused because that Buddhist temple had torii gates, like the Shinto shrines do. And deep in my memory, I remembered there being an old video from Tokyo Lens, the Canadian guy who does YouTube videos about Japan, about this, where they asked somebody at one of the temples why there was a torii gate there. And I managed to dig up the video. It's from about 2 years ago. I'm amazed I found it. What was it called? I don't know. His name's Norm. It was Norm and Charla in Japan, in northern Japan, in the wintertime. And the guy who was running the temple said that, there's a long, complicated history of these two religions intertwining that I did listen to a talk about it, but, it just didn't really sink in. Religion does not stick to my brain, and it's like just hundreds and hundreds, if not thousands of years back of these things. You know, it started with Shintoism in Japan. Shinto is Japan's native religion, and then Buddhism came in, and they intertwined for a while, and then, I think it's the Meiji period it's called, but in like the late 1800s, they were like, all right, we got to split these up, and that's when it became more of two distinct things. So the guy was saying that if you see a temple that has Shinto shrine torii gates as well, it's a sign that it's probably old. It's probably over 200 years old, back when these things were more intertwined. And it does kind of seem like, because I'm so non-religious, I mean, I don't know anything about Buddhism, but I certainly don't believe that the Buddha was anybody. It's just some guy. So Shintoism seems cooler to me, because it's just kind of the all-purpose worshipping of everything, of like there's a million little gods, which, yes, Satori told me that too. You know, there's the god of the rocks, there's the god of the trees, there's just, you know, it's the worship of the area, of the world, the natural world that you're in, which clearly fits more with me. I love that shit, but I don't need to put a label on it or, you know, be a part of an officially recognized group of any kind. But if I had to pick, with the little bit that I know, Shintoism seems pretty cool to me. It seems like the least offensive religion, but I'm sure if you dig in, there's probably all kinds of weird, horrible stuff that happened. There always is. There always is. You group people together and bad stuff happens. But I'm trying, man. I'm trying to learn something, you know? All right, now there's also a museum. Again, right next door to here. Like, man, I'm kind of glad I took this side approach. I'm still not even like halfway to the Dazaifu subway stop, and I'm just like running into all kinds of things. This area seems rich with things. Actually, I'm halfway. I'm a little over halfway. Oh, I just did my quick little Google Translate because there's a sign here. 500, 300, 200, 150, and like the dates that it's open. I saw this sign at the other place too, and it is in fact the sign for yen. So it's like, does this cost money to go in? I think it does. This looks like a to-do as well. They've got like slippers outside. You got to take off your shoes and put on the slippers just to go into the museum. But yeah, I mean, I'm not a museum guy. I've never been a museum guy. It was really cool that one in Chiba was free. That was actually a really nice museum. But I kind of, like I was saying before, I kind of just want to continue on because, yeah, if I get a lay of the land and it's still daytime, I'm going to head up them mountains. You know, I don't begrudge museums. They got to keep running somehow. $5 through a museum is probably not that bad. Maybe it's amazing in there. But yeah, it's one of those things I just made my peace with, mainly in New York, when I was suddenly surrounded with extremely famous museums. And it's like, yeah, it's not like they're bad. It's not like I didn't like them, but I was a lot more willing to pretend that I liked them when I was in my 20s. Now that I'm in my 40s, I'm like, I just don't care. I don't get anything out of this. I would rather just walk around. The whole fucking place is kind of like a museum, so let's just do that. So I'm approaching the station. Found a drink machine, found a laundromat, all the mod cons. So I'm on a busier street now, and 3 tour buses went by. 2 of them were Nagasaki tour, and one of them was Kaho something. And then another tour bus came back toward me. So I got the wild idea, why don't I just follow the tour buses? And I mean, I can't see them right now. They've escaped me. But I'm heading in that direction. Let's head in the same direction as the tour bus. Keep my eyes peeled for the tour bus. Because whatever they're doing must be whatever there is to do around here. Pretty genius, am I right? I was just thinking too, I mean, even if that was an English museum, you know, same thing would apply. I don't really want to just go in and walk around and pretend that I'm focusing, but also it would be extra weird, I guess, because there was like a nice little old lady in there who I'm sure could take me around and tell me all about stuff. But not me, she couldn't, because I'm an ignorant fool. I'm a deaf, dumb, functionally blind. I can't do anything in this country. So yeah, a double wouldn't have worked. On top of the normal museuminess, there would be the awkwardness of milling around without being able to talk. There's another tour bus, the Vidro Museum. There must be fucking something going on around here, because that's a lot of tour buses. Man, there's a high school here too. I noticed it on the map. Halfway up the mountain. They've got a big net set up, so I guess whatever sports ball they're playing doesn't come careening down onto the buildings below. But man, that's a beautiful fucking place to have a high school. It's a really nice looking school too. It's not that kind of stereotypical high school like I walked by the other day, with just the rows of windows and, the 3 floors. This one is all fancy and modern looking. And then there's a gym, and there's, the big field. Forest-covered mountains behind this school. And then from up there, they get a perfect view of whatever these tourists are doing down here. That's really cool, man. That's a cool place to go to school. Oh, and here's where all the tour buses are parked. I successfully followed them. So now we'll just follow the people, see where they're going. Hopefully they're not all walking into a big meat grinder, because if they do that, I'm not going to follow. I'm not going in. Uh-oh, I've become trapped. Trapped in the sea of people. I can't get out. So right after the tour buses, I'm not sure, by the way, if that place was a high school. I was thinking of another place I saw on the map. This one was not listed on the map, but it's a fucking cool building that somebody, I don't know, whatever it is, it's cool. It's an amazing view. Let's just imagine it's a high school, because that's a neat idea. But anyway, yeah, all of a sudden it got into tourist town. Just tons of kind of narrow streets, but tons of shops, mostly food, but all kinds of different shops. Even a little claw machine shop and a Lawson's popped up, but all kinds of different shops. It kind of has the feeling of, like, imagine a seaside town if you're on the boardwalk, except we're not by the sea and it's just everywhere. Then I got to Dazaifu station, and it looks really cool. It has it's sort of, the station's made to look kind of old-timey. Oh yeah, and all these buildings in general, even though it's like just modern type commercialism experience, but they all are old style. Although here's a Starbucks that is maybe trying a little, but it doesn't really fit in. But everything is packed, and yeah, then all of a sudden I got to this freaking intersection where there was a great big torii gate, but just packed. And then I looked to the left and it was just packed, and I didn't want to go back behind me. To the right wasn't as packed, but I was like, "Al, I'm already in the flow. Just go through the torii gate." So I'm going through a series of torii gates, but it's just people everywhere. Surprisingly quiet though. Even with this many people, it's nothing like traffic, nothing like vehicles. And yet just stores and stores and stores. This one is selling Pocky. This one is also selling chocolates. I passed some takoyaki earlier, although I ate all my melon pan and cheesecake cracker things from earlier, so I'm not hungry. But I was tempted by the takoyaki. Those are just like octopus balls, deep fried octopus. I've had them before in Toronto. They were good. But yeah, this is weird. I guess it is also a Sunday. I never pay attention to what day it is, but I'm so used to just coming to places and kind of nobody's around or not that many people. This is unusual. I did not expect it to be like this tourist gangbang. But as I get toward the end here, or at the end of this shopping street, passing through the last gate, and it does seem like people are clearing out a little now. So I don't know where this is going, but now that we're passing through all the stores toward presumably a temple, Yeah, it's still busy, but it's a little less insane. There we go. This is starting to seem a little nicer. All these tourists are Asian, by the way. Did I see anybody non-Asian today? I don't think so. I saw some like wild rainbow colored hair and I was like, oh, maybe that person, but no, they were also Asian. So yeah, I don't know where these people are from specifically. But yeah, this doesn't seem like so much a outsider tourist area. This is like a within the region tourist area. But don't worry, I'm holding it down, Canada. Canada Jean. There's only one of us. It's just me, but I'm here. I'm representing. Oh man, this is cool. Like now we're going over a bridge towards some temples, and yeah, everything is super duper Revenge of Shinobi, you know, really ancient, old, cool looking. But yeah, it would be so much better if nobody was here. I should come back on like a Tuesday afternoon or something and see if it's empty. Whew. Well, I mean, this seems pretty cool. It's definitely very beautiful. But that was just too many people. I'm already feeling the little telltale, the tickle feeling in the back of my throat that so far has been psychosomatic every time. And of course is this time too. I mean, even if I got sick from all those people, it's not like I'd be feeling it now. It's been 10 minutes. But yeah, I think maybe on a Sunday when endless tour buses are rolling in, maybe that's not the time. I never really enjoyed big crowds, but I mean, in pre-COVID times, I think maybe I would have enjoyed that a little more, just for the spectacle of seeing so many people flowing through the place. But yeah, not anymore. Now I don't like that at all. So instead, I'm just trying to find a way to escape up into the woods. You know, this place is easy to get to. It's close. I can come back anytime. But there's so many people. I found this one path up behind these little shrines. It's not the same mountain I was looking at before, and not the one with the building which may or may not be a high school. It's kind of the other way. But there's so many people here that even here, the path I was going to go up, somebody came down it, and now a few people are going up it. I don't know what it is or where it goes. But even the random path escaping up into the mountains is like, got people. So I found a path off of that path that it's generous to even call a path. But let's try it and let's see. Heading on up. Getting away. Too many folk. Ruining my day. Not to be negative, more so, but this is weird. So right next to the super ancient shrine pavilion is what looks to be the worst amusement park in the world. It's kind of hidden down in a glen. So I can't get down there just because of the steepness of this mountain. I don't really see, there's some fences down there, but I think it's literally just the steepness of the mountain keeping people out. But it's very loud and grindy, and it's got like a really slow Ferris wheel and really slow teacups, and it's got these blue things that I thought were water slides at first, and I was like, dude, I know it's a nice day, but it's not that nice, what the heck? But no, it turns out it's like these little carts with little blimps on top. Oh, and there's like a train, like a longer one, and they're just very slowly going around in a manner that couldn't possibly be entertaining to anyone, and making that horrible grinding noise. Like, it's pretty bad from up here. From down there, it must suck. And then further on, I do see what looks to be more of a actual roller coaster. So at least there's one thing moving faster than 1 mile per hour. God, it's so slow. Here comes another one. It's just the slowest thing. Which, if it was like the lazy river philosophy, that'd be one thing. But it's making all of this racket. Anyway, it's medium busy down there, so that's good. And I also don't see it on the map. So who the heck knows what this is? I think maybe the downloadable Google map of this region is just not very filled in. Because I wasn't sure where my downloadable map of Fukuoka ended. And like I said, this place is not that far. But if I do go exploring further on the train, who knows where I'll end up. So I just grabbed half a Kyushu. I just was like, download the map for this area, please. And I just made the square around half the island. And it was like 600 megs, where the map of Tokyo by itself is like 2 gigs. You know, like this whole region of Japan has got less going on by a long shot than Tokyo, which isn't surprising at all. That makes a lot of sense. But I had it confirmed by the numbers. Although again, too, maybe it isn't just that there's less stuff. It could be that just there's less stuff even on the map. There's just stuff missing. So yeah, I'm heading toward a shrine and up into the mountains proper. Maybe I can make a full escape from here. Escape from the ghostly music. So I had a nice little walk through the woods that was kind of pleasant, but then it didn't last that long because I'm not in the actual mountain proper. So I got spit out into a little neighborhood and it's like, oh, this is kind of nice. And then I saw in the distance, make your own adventure, that cool building on the hill that I, for some reason, thought was a high school. It's right here, so that seems like fate. Let's figure out what the heck this is. So we've got a wrought iron sign out front. I'm down at the bottom, I haven't gone up. So yeah, this is black on black, black metal lettering on a black metal sign. So unfortunately, Google Translate has nothing for me on that one. But there's another sign. It's further away, but it's white on blue. Oh my God, it actually fucking works. Kyushu University of Information Sciences. School of Management, Faculty of Management Information. Oh wait, there's an English sign. Kyushu Institute of Information Sciences. Cool. Very nice. And yet, across from the Institution of Sciences, which looks like a secret villain's lair up on the mountain, I just walked by a place where a guy dumped a bunch of old washing machines. Directly behind it is some kind of, it looks like a little mini junkyard. Some abandoned construction project. I was gonna go up because the gate's open and it's a Sunday. It's probably no big deal if I go up there. But I just noticed a bunch of people walking down this street. There's a bunch more. 2 people walking up the direction I'm going, and yeah, big gaggle of people coming down, and then a couple more behind them. So yeah, why not? It must lead somewhere. There must be something up here. This is just like a little narrow 2-lane road going up toward the mountains with really steep walls on each side. So all of the houses here are way up above the road. I assume this must have been just like a ravine. Like this must have originally been a natural groove in the earth and they just put a road here. It would be really interesting to see how the roadways of Japan developed. I mean, it must be just kind of where can we put a road? Where are we able to? The same way that the rivers are all crazy, so they didn't use a lot of boats in historical Japan. Must be the same way with all these fucking roadways and passages and stuff. You don't get to decide where you want to drive to. You just got to wind your way around. And a little tiny bus went by, but it was packed full of people. So yeah, there's got to be something up here. What is it? The mystery. Let's find out. Alright, I see a sign for Kamado Shrine. Kamado Shrine. And it's a highway sign, the big blue signs. I've never seen a highway direction sign that said a shrine on it. It always just says, you know, a region, a neighborhood or whatever. And yeah, the view of the mountains is very pretty from here. They're very nice. But I'm not quite there. As you can hear around me, there's still a lot of traffic. But yeah, I see stairs out of a nightmare. They're really long stairs. Is this Kamado Shrine? I don't know. There's still a lot of people walking further down the road. But this must be something. Big stairs don't go nowhere. Small stairs sometimes go nowhere in Japan. No bus entry. Please refrain from parking for climbing purposes. Oh, whatever this is, it's closed on Monday. Luckily today's Sunday. But that sounds pretty good to me. If they have to mention don't park for climbing purposes, no problem. I ain't parking, I'm on foot. But that would suggest there are climbing purposes available to this place. It's 3 o'clock. I got at least 2 hours of sunlight. And I'm just really not that far from stuff. So let's give this a go. Alright, this worked out pretty well. So where I went up to is a soccer field. There's a bunch of kids playing a game of soccer with their parents hanging around watching. And they of course had drink machines, so I got a deep green tea. There were 2 green teas. One of them was in a blacker label. So I got it. It's deep green tea. What's the brand of this? It's pretty tasty. I like it. Something affiliated with Coca-Cola. Imagine if they had this in fucking North America in Coke machines. People would be like, what in the fuck? You don't know what you're missing out on, North America. It's fucking tasty. And yeah, the view from this place, since you gotta go up nightmare stairs, the view of this field, holy fuck, just because there's the big mountains in the background. It's like, again, it's so weird to just grow up next to mountains and just like, I bet if these kids ever leave Fukuoka and move somewhere else, that's when they'll realize like, oh man, everywhere I went as a kid used to be the most beautiful shit in the world. You just take it for granted that you live in a postcard. People from Vancouver probably feel similarly, and then yeah, you get other places and it's like, oh wait, most of the world is kind of flat. But also, not only do you have to go up nightmare stairs to get to your soccer game, although I guess probably your parents drove you up, but of course, squat toilets. As I was walking by the washroom, I peered in. It's like, oh yeah, there's washrooms all over this place, because then as you go up the mountain, there's a couple of different playgrounds for kids. Just squat toilets everywhere. So imagine playing a full game of soccer and then, you know, football, and then having to use squat toilets. Fuck, man, you must have legs of fucking steel. That builds character for sure. But yeah, then as you go up, it's just a nice little mountainy path, but again, not the proper mountains. There's a highway between me and the proper mountains. You can still hear the traffic in the distance. But because I'm only 2 hours from sundown, more like 90 minutes now, you know, it's better. It's better that I'm not in the real mountains. I did wake up pretty early today, but I stayed at home a bit doing some editing. Oh yeah, because that was my plan. My plan was to hang around in this neighborhood till it was dark and see what it looks like at night. I don't know, I wonder. All those shrines and stuff, I wonder if they're gonna look cool at night. Do they light up stuff like that? They must. I mean, it's such a tourism place. Maybe I should still make that my plan. To meander back that way and see if I can pass back through it at night. But anyway, for these purposes, yeah, I got to take a nice little half-hour hike through these mountains. Traffic on one side, soccer on the other. Not too far from anything. No chance whatsoever of being abandoned in the mountains at night. So I'd say that worked out pretty well. Yeah, I'm kind of in that awkward middle zone where it won't be properly dark for a while still. I mean, it is 3:30, so it'll take like 2 hours for it to really be dark. It certainly won't take me 2 hours to walk back there. But I don't know that there's much else to do in these parts. I think the fact that I did a little hike up behind the soccer field really is probably about as good as it's going to get. So I don't know what my plans for the day are. I could go on a mission to try to find a non-squat toilet, but why even bother? That's not gonna fucking happen. I found a sign. So the place I was at was the Bairin Sports Park, Bairin Sports Park, but then the Kamado Shrine, I almost forgot about that, the shrine with the sign. It's only 0.9 kilometers. It's not that far, because I was just thinking if I walk back to the main Dazaifu shrine area, I've really got to drag my feet to get there, when it's dark. So yeah, this Kamado Shrine / Mount Homon Trailhead. So again, I probably will not partake of the trailhead, because there's not enough time for that. But there's plenty of time to go to Kamado Shrine. Then turn around, come back to Dazaifu. Because I was thinking even, I'm sure the main shrine area will be nice, but then also lit up at night. I was like, oh yeah, there's all that, the Commerce Street by the station, where there's just like the millions of little shops. I bet that's gonna look awesome at night. So yeah, I gotta see this shit at night. But yeah, I was a little like, but what do I do? Do I just spin in circles for an hour? How do I eat up the time? Kamado Shrine is how I eat up the time. Yeah, because I was also thinking how on my way up here, just the spirit of adventure, just following people and going up to a place I'd never been. I feel that little flutter, those little butterflies in my gut of like, yeah, I'm going to go explore. I'm going to go find a place. I just love that feeling. But then on my way back down, I was like, yeah, that was fine. But I really did just find a soccer field with a little mini hike, especially because that's like a kid's playground behind the soccer field. That little hike I did would be the perfect hike to take like your small children on, because it would feel like a real big adventure to them. But, for an adult, it takes like 20 minutes. It's not a big deal, but a perfect kid hike. But yeah, basically, I guess that's the point of adventure, right? You don't know what you're gonna find. Maybe it'll be the craziest thing ever. Maybe it's just like, okay, just sort of a sports park where it's probably slightly extra confusing of like why I'm wandering around there, but I'm just wandering around there because I didn't know what the heck it was. So yeah, take 2, Kamado Shrine. Let's see what you're all about. I'm glad I saw that sign that had the distance, because I was thinking if they posted it on a highway sign, suddenly we're talking car distances. It's like maybe this thing is really far away. But 1 kilometer, 0.9 kilometers, that's nothing. That's not even a tunnel. Oh yeah, and I can see on the road ahead of me, as the road curves around, I can see 3 different groups of people walking down. So yeah, this is definitely something. Some place that people go to. Probably it's just a shrine, right? But that's good enough. That's a target. Alright, I got a little turned around on the way here, because there was a sign on the way here that's like 200 meters to this. And I tried using Translate, and it was giving me no loves of like, I don't know what it means, 200 meters to what? But then I was like, I'm trying to eat up time anyway. So let's just go. 200 meters isn't far. And I'm still not sure what it was directing me to. I eventually came upon a couple of smaller temples Though they were further than 200 meters. Maybe it was even just parking, overflow parking for here, I'm not sure. But yeah, I eventually circled around and got to the shrine proper. And again, tourist time. Tons of tourists. I'm still the only white guy. I did it. If that was my goal, I did it. And some people going by with hiking poles and stuff. So yeah, this definitely leads to something hikey. Oh, there's someone in a kimono. But yeah, the pre-downloaded Google map of this area, it's got nothing. It's just got nothing in it. But I guess most people have data plans, so your Google map is probably a lot better. But amazingly, I'm sure if somebody went through and counted the number of times I reference a temple or a shrine versus the number of times I reference a washroom, I am sure the washroom would win out. That is my true religion. Where I was like, oh, there's a bathroom here. Let's just check it out. Not even a shadow of hope in my soul that it wouldn't be a squat toilet. I haven't seen a non-squat toilet all day, besides my apartment. Thank God. Can you imagine if you got an apartment through Airbnb and it had a squat toilet? That'd be fucking ridiculous. But yeah, that's how you can tell this place is really tourist central. It had a real toilet. It had a heated toilet seat. It had a bidet. It's like going from hell straight to heaven. It just is so like, holy crap, we're on the other side now. And pretty much the moment I went in there, because I didn't even need to use the washroom that bad, but it's just like, hey, let's do it while I'm here. The moment I went in, someone behind me also tried the door. And I was like, yeah, I know, buddy, I know. This is a rare commodity. But I didn't make him wait long because it was kind of a formality. It's just like, I could have survived without this toilet, but hey, if it's here, why not shoot a little water at my butt? Have I talked about bidets at all? Let's get into it briefly in this holiest of places. This holy mountain. Is basically I noticed with the one I've got at home, now that I could really take the time, I'm not in a public place. Since the toilet at my Airbnb's got all the options, I pulled out my little translator, and yeah, there's so much stuff. You can choose there's a spray your butt, spray your front, which I don't need. I guess that would spray my balls. I don't know. But it's conveniently in pink to show like, no, that one's not for me. But you can choose the power of the spray. You can choose the temperature of the water. You can choose the temperature of a drying feature. It has a drying thing. Geez, yes, these hikers are like serious. They have like big backpacks and stuff. Geez, I wonder what this hike is. Maybe it's like brutal. Oh, and this one also had sort of normal spray and more, I don't know, wider angle spray. The ones in public washrooms definitely don't have all these options. I feel like there's something else I'm forgetting too. It had so many options. It was like ridiculous. But I really kind of question, especially because pretty much all I ever mess with is the strength of this spray, because I put it to the lowest possible. Because even if you just put it one higher, it's uncomfortable. It like stings your butthole. It's like, eesh. I don't necessarily love that. And it goes up to like 4 or 5. I would never even dare. It's like stabbing a needle into your butt. I don't understand what that's all about. So I kind of presume I'm probably not using bidets properly, quote unquote, in the sense that in North America, I always wet the toilet paper, because the theory I heard somewhere that does ring true to me is like, imagine if a bird pooped on your arm. Are you just going to wipe it off with a dry napkin? Like, of course not, You got to get that thing wet. You don't just dry wipe the poop off your arm. So why do we dry wipe poop off our butts? Why do we think that's okay? Why? North America, why? It's so weird. I just took a little side route up above the shrine building. And there's a gross stagnant pond up here. You can see why no one else is up here. This thing is not picturesque at all. But yeah, so I guess basically how I use bidets is kind of the reverse of that. Just instead of putting a few drops of water from the faucet on a piece of toilet paper, just so I'll have wet or at least slightly damp toilet paper, I kind of do the reverse where I just let the gentle spray my butt. So it's like then the toilet paper gets wet when I wipe, you know? It's just like I'm just wetting my butt instead, basically. So I'm not like using the bidet to blast shit off my ass is what I'm trying to say. And I gotta suspect that is in fact what other people are doing. Because why would you ever need these pressure levels that are just like, you must have to clench. Like if that accidentally shot up your butt, I think you'd be in serious trouble. I think that feels like a dangerous thing to do. Like when stuntmen jump off cliffs into water and they have to wear special diapers because the water can like penetrate, bam, up into your abdomen and you can die. You know, I'm not saying a bidet is gonna kill you. But yeah, that's not at all how I use it. I still just basically use toilet paper. It's just the toilet paper is wet now because the bidet has wet my butt. So it's still just much more convenient than trying to find a way to get your toilet paper damp in a washroom. Oh yeah, some of the other options were a deodorizer and fake flushing noises to cover up whatever you're doing. And I'm sure there's even more options than that. There were so many options, it's like crazy. But I'm gonna go a little further. I'm on like a paved path next to this gross lake. But yeah, suddenly this changed from people everywhere, relatively speaking, not like the other place, but relatively busy, to nobody. I'm suddenly on a path with no one because I just wanted to, while I'm rambling a podcast to myself, it's like, all right, let's trend away from people. But the fact that I'm on now the most deserted path of all time, where the heck is this going? Hopefully it just loops around, but if not, I might just have to double back. Oh, it's not paved anymore either. It is now just a mountain path. Still a lot of greenery, but also a lot of leaves on the ground. It's fall and spring at the same time. Oh yeah, that Dazaifu place. Apparently it's mega famous for cherry blossoms, but I mean, what isn't? You know? Japan in the springtime must be fucking crazy everywhere you go. Just fucking cherry blossoms city. Cherry blossom country. So that path I was on pretty quickly just turned into mountain paths and like not very well used ones. So it's like, okay, this is not the way to go. Especially since everybody I've seen today when they're hiking have big packs and hiking poles and stuff. It's like, this seems like, I don't know where they're hiking to, but it doesn't seem very close. But it's cool even in those places, like there's already, like right away there's like the red ribbons tied to trees and there's little red markers in the ground. Just to make sure you do know you are going somewhere. It's just a nice feeling. It's like, hey buddy, don't worry. You're kind of going the wrong place, but somebody else has been here before you. You know, we got you sorted. And it did loop around and come back through a really rough path, but back down the mountain and back to this main shrine. But then as I was returning to the main shrine, an older lady walked by and she was the harbinger of old people. Literally 100, at least 100. They're still walking by me now. There was a great big group of them, and now there's some stragglers. A great big group of older people, like they're definitely all 50 plus. And I'd say like 70% women, maybe 80%. There's a lot of women. And it's just so cool. They must be finishing for the day because it's like, yeah, it's 4:30. Jeez, it's actually probably about time I could start making my way back to Dazaifu. It'll be dark by the time I get there. But yeah, this must be like a hiking club, you know? Like, what's that? I've never seen it, but there's an anime about hiking. Something about the struggle of the climb or something it's called. This is like that, but for older people. And like, this is great. This is what I would want to do when I'm older, is like join a hiking group. All go hiking together. You're going to be okay. Nothing bad's going to happen to you. There's people everywhere. You're with, when I said 100, it could be more than 100. They're still coming. So many of them. And like, that's just great. Don't get old. You don't have to be old. You can still just hike. Be a hiker. Just maybe, you don't have to just be a hiker by yourself. There does reach a point in life when, hey, it's probably good to have the security of the group. But yeah, that's fucking rad. I 100% approve of that. But yeah, this place, ultimately, it's a shrine. It's nice. It ain't bad. But it does seem like, as a trailhead, to go hike off to other places, that seems like what would be the real value, the real coolness. But since it's all just weird blankness on my map, and everyone I've seen looks like they're ready for the apocalypse, maybe it's just because they're older, but I just don't feel like this is a place I should be hiking, I've been doing okay with my learning how Mount Aburayama works. And like I said, with that mountain, it's surrounded by highway on every side. You can only get so lost in there. Chances of me becoming a desiccated corpse on Mount Aburayama, I feel like, are very low. It's more just the shame of having to scramble through a golf course to escape. This, on the other hand, this feels like if I lived here and I really had time to learn the lay of the land, the lay of the region, this seems like it would be a great place to go hiking. But for me and my little 9 days left in Kyushu, probably not a good plan. As I was leaving, sun's going down, it's going to get suddenly dark. I realized too, I forgot to bring my thermal shirt. I always have a thermal shirt in my back pocket. But because I'm at a new Airbnb, I didn't unpack my thermal shirts yet. I forgot. But I don't think it's going to get that cold. It's pretty nice today. And I was thinking, I could really go for ice cream. If there was an ice cream machine, that would rule. And then I saw there was a little stand, like a barbecue stand that has ice cream, but the guy wasn't there. So I felt like Homer for a second, buying hot dogs at people's funerals. The lady, he's putting my kids through college. But as I was leaving, the hiking group is right behind me, the big mass of them, and I'm going to sneakily spy on them and see what they do. Because, there's buses down here. That is my suspicion. Yes, indeed, they are all turning toward the buses. God, there's so fucking many of them. Well, I guess there's three buses over there. So how many people fit on a big ass tour bus? However many that is times 3, that's how many people there are. Because I bet you dollars to donuts, these things are completely full. There are a lot of them. And yeah, that's fucking pretty cool, man. That is a cool tour. Because there's all manner of tours. I remember my mom and dad, they took like a tour to go see the Rolling Stones in, I don't know, was it Montreal? But you take the bus and you go see some touristy shit, and then you get to see the Rolling Stones. And by all accounts, it was very fun. Because it takes away the, just a lot of the logistics and planning. If they just by themselves, as 2 people, had to get their shit together to drive. Canadian provinces are fucking gigantic. So just to drive a province over to Quebec, to Montreal, is not a short drive. And figure out accommodations and tickets and blah, blah, blah. Just to do it as a tour. They said it was fun, and I could see that type of thing too. I've definitely hit the age now where I don't go to concerts anymore. It's just a pain in the butt to bother, and then it's just too loud for my ears. So I could see being one of these people. I don't know, like get on a tour bus and go see Ween. Are Ween still together? I don't know. They did break up for a period because the singer was drinking a lot on stage. But whatever. Bands from my generation never die, except for the ones who literally did die. But the point I'm rambling toward is, as far as a tour goes, what a cool tour to go hiking, a hiking tour. I mean, I'm going to assume with that many people, and some of them were quite old, it was probably not a very severe hike. You got to have a hike that everybody's going to do. But still, like, I mean, that's just, it's the opposite of, you know, an all-inclusive resort or something. Or let's just go on a nice, easy vacation. This is like, let's go fucking hike. Let's go have type 2 fun. Fun that will seem fun in hindsight, but in the moment is going to be a big fucking miserable hike. How do you even get 100 old people to agree to that? I'm just impressed. I am goddamn impressed. I want to join them. I want to be their friend. But yeah, the sun is still hanging in the sky. It looks high up. It's, 3-4 inches above the skyline, the mountain line, the top of the mountain ridge. But bitter experience has taught me that in less than an hour, it's going to be the darkest thing that has ever existed around here. So this should be the perfect opportunity to see Dazaifu at night. And I probably won't get on that very subway, but then I can just mosey on to one of the other subways and just head on home. Fucking sweet. I like this location. I like this Airbnb. I like it. I like everything that's going on here. And man, I'm passing a lot of people as I leave that are still heading up to that shrine. And it was the, enough people heading up that way that led me here in the first place. Not that it was bad. It was an alright shrine. It was pretty cool. But I do kind of suspect maybe this means there's really nothing else to do around here. It does seem like everything else in this area is quite highway-ish. Not great for pedestrians. I could be wrong. I've missed many an amazing landmark before. But my guess would be, this is the thing. I just passed a white guy. A white guy with an otherwise Asian group. Maybe he's one of the lifers. Maybe he's one of the people that has set up shop here in Japan. And it was funny that after I passed him, I mean, it could also be because I'm holding the recorder, not just that I'm a white guy, but after we got 15 feet away from each other, we did the turn. I turned back to look at him as he was turning back to look at me. It's like when you pass a hot lady in the street and you turn back to look at her, and she's also turned back to make sure that you're noticing that she's a hot lady. Except here it's just, yeah, white guy. Hey, white guy. Hey, how you doing? But he truly is the only white guy I've seen all day. Cheers to you, white guy. Now I just need that sun to drop. Drop on down, son. Get your ass out of here. We're done with you. Wow, this is like night and day, pun definitely intended. I can't believe how different this is. So I really took my time. I just stopped. I straight up stopped in the woods above this central shrine. And I just pulled out my phone and did a little writing. It's always hard to get the momentum going. It's always, I don't know, I always feel apprehension about writing. It's hard to get going. And then once I get going, it's all good. I only did a bit, but I did a little bit of writing on 3 different stories. So it's like, hey, a little bit further. And now I feel better because I did writing for today. It's not going to slip away. But just waiting for it to really get dark. So yeah, now it's like 5:30. It's just a little bit of dusk in the deep horizon, but it's essentially dark. And then as I got down here, it's like, this is definitely the place. I just took the same route that I left from to come back. But it was so empty. There was nobody here. And I walked past a washroom that was closed, and I started to think, like, am I supposed to be here? Like, I know it's only 5:30. It's not late. But it always suddenly feels like it could be midnight. It's like just so dark. Even now, like everyone I can see, now that I'm finally at the main central place, everyone I see is just a silhouette, And there's like probably 30 people here. But there was 300 people here before. I mean, it must have just been because I got caught in a wave of tour buses, that made it extra crazy. But yeah, geez, this place is a ghost town now. There was like not a soul till I got back here. So this is pretty nice. I mean, it is dark as hell. There's only very vague illumination around the edges of stuff, little lamps and things. There's still people taking pictures, but I don't know why, because they can't see shit. But this is kind of nice. Yeah, here's the little bridge that I went across before, which was just a clusterfuck gangbang of people. Now there's like 6 people. This is all right. I don't hate this. So yeah, the big shopping street, also pretty empty, a little less empty. But also 80% of the stores, maybe 90%, are closed. Just like, okay, tour buses are done for the day. Close these shutters, shut them down. If you came here this time of day, you would never know that this is such a big, crazy tourism place, because it looks very calm right now. There are some cars here. What's up with that? Who the fuck would ever drive a car through here? What are you doing? But yeah, this is kind of cool because I got to see both. Not only the daytime and nighttime, but also I got to see the packed beyond reason and just the super chill, hardly anyone here versions. Yeah, that central shrine at night, it's like sporadically lit. There's lighting, but I think it's mainly so that you don't fall in the water, fall in one of the ponds, or trip over some stairs or something. But the actual buildings themselves are not lit, they don't have like a bunch of spotlights set up or anything. So it's kind of interesting because, yeah, you can't really see that much at night, but it's kind of nice in an eerie, kind of creepy way. I wouldn't say like, hey, just come here at night, because it is so dark. But I'd say if you can arrange both, if you are here this time of year where it gets dark so fast, it's kind of cool to see them both. But I mean, daytime I think is preferable so you can actually see where you are. But this is chill, this is nice. It was creepy too, just because the lighting is so intermittent, that as you look across the grounds, one of the major light sources is actually drink machines, which is just an odd sensation because everything does feel like such an ancient temple or an ancient shrine. Also strangely akin to Revenge of Shinobi, because not only did it have a lot of ancient Japanese type settings, it also had like, hey, now you're fighting on a freeway and now you're fighting in a city. So this has all that stuff mixed together as well. Yet again, parsing my experiences through video games. God bless you, video games. And God bless you, Japan, not only for the scenery I'm walking through, but for the very video games that I use in order to contextualize my experience in life. Alright, I'm at the station, but instead of going back to the station I got off at earlier today, I think now I'm going to walk to the other connecting station just to walk through this neighborhood a little more, soak in a couple stations worth of walking. But I think that's definitely an episode. That is an adventure for the day. Not too shabby, man, not too bad. I liked it. And yeah, it was, especially kind of cool for how easy this is to get to. It really is just on the train line. It's so easy to get here. For that alone, I'd say it's worth it. This is not a big investment to come check this place out. The whole area of Dazaifu seems to have intermittent stuff going on. Ancient ruins, miscellaneous museums, but specifically at Dazaifu Station, as soon as you leave the station, there's a big shopping street and big torii gates, and you can't miss it. Honestly, the shopping street is kind of cool. It's nice to see the ancient buildings. But there's a ton of stuff on that street. And if you get there when it's not at the exact same time as 6 different tour buses got there, you could probably have a nice little stroll, soak it in a little bit better. But as all the cool stuff was closed, as I passed my way back through, I think I'm just going to hit up this Lawson's that's ahead of me to fuel me on home. Good old Lawson's. You can't go wrong. Maybe they'll have that melon bread that I wanted. Okay, bonus bit. I got a little turned around as I was leaving. So I am in fact heading back to the station that I left from earlier in the day. But as I was walking, I passed this store, Best Convenience System, with logos and colors I'd never seen before. So I'm like, well, I gotta try this, because that's an extremely rare thing to see, a convenience store chain that I don't know. And I presume it's a chain, I don't even know. This place is only open from 7 a.m. to 10 p.m. Inside they just have a regular register. I don't think you can use like the Suica card and that stuff. It basically seems like the equivalent of just a neighborhood convenience store, just like the mom and pop convenience store, which you see all the time in North America, but like never in Japan. It's always one of the chains. They do have like a sticker for their onigiri. I got to assume this is like a very small chain maybe. Or who knows though, maybe it is just a one-off and they're ready for it to be a chain in the future. But inside, I was like, is this right or is this a mistake? So the onigiri is 100 yen, which actually I guess that's not so crazy. Onigiri is pretty cheap no matter where you go, but that is still cheaper. Even the cheap ones at 7-Eleven are like 130 or whatever. But they had one of these dessert sandwiches, which these things are like $3.50. Rounding up on $4 at the main places. They're always really expensive. This one seems like it does have less fruit in it, but it's 150 yen. And I was just like, is this a mistake? Is this a printing error? I'm just not sure. But no, I got an onigiri and I got this dessert sandwich, which is yellow peach, white peach jam, and whipped cream. The two together were $2.50. What the fuck? What a good deal. But the packaging also doesn't have the all convenient English, and I didn't want to pull out my phone and start trying to figure shit out in the store. I was like, whatever. Let's just get one and see what it is. So let's open this onigiri and see what it is. It's got the traditional 1, 2, 3 packaging, and it maybe is a little smaller. It does seem like it might be a bit smaller than at the other stores. I think it's teriyaki beef, but it's an odd taste. It's a little tough to put my finger on, but it's very good. It definitely has its own twist. It's definitely a little different than the other stores. Pardon my eating. And now the yellow peach sandwich with white peach jam and whipped cream, which I predict will be delicious. So yeah, the ones at the other chains do have more stuff in them, but they're fantastically more expensive. Oh, fuck, that's good. Holy shit, dicks, man, that's really good. So this was a rare treat, since so much of my life in Japan revolves around convenience stores. It is extremely rare to find a new type of convenience store I've never heard of before. And Best Convenience System is not a bad name because mostly it's just got the staples in there. It's mostly just the same kind of stuff you get at all the other stores. But the specific onigiri sandwiches, that type of stuff, are maybe a little smaller, but way less expensive. That's kind of neat. I like it. I approve. All right, well, there's another episode in the books while I finish my peach sandwich. Thank you for listening, and I'll see you next time.